if you guys have an M4 or an M16, I'm not sure if this is prevalent on any other gun series, but airsoft guns sometimes will have what's called a two-piece outer barrel, which is here's the main part of the barrel. That's where your flash hider or barrel extension will go onto, and this is the part that's held on by your delta ring on the M4. And basically these two pieces are held in together. And you can see those holes there. There's two on the top and one on the bottom. Those are held in with some little Allen set screws, just kind of like that little guy right there. And over time, as you play with the gun, those screws will kind of loosen up a little bit, and you can get some barrel wobble, where it won't line up correctly. You'll get accuracy problems, and eventually, you know, this might fall out if they get loose enough. So I'm just going to show you guys a mod on how to fix that today with a few simple instructions. The first things you're going to need are basically, it's called JB Weld. I'm sure everybody knows about this. It's pretty common. It's just basically an epoxy where you mix the steel and the hardener together, and you apply it to the surface you want to mate with another surface, and it'll dry up and it'll be as hard as one piece of metal. And to mix that, you're just going to need, I just use like a couple of little toothpicks like that to mix it up and then apply it. And then obviously you're going to need your proper sized Allen key. I think this is a 2mm. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not sure. And then you're going to need your 3 set screws right there. Alright, so what I've got here on this little piece of cardboard is the 2 components of the JB Weld. There on the left in the black is the steel and then the hardener. You're going to want to try to get close to as equal proportions as possible, but if you can't, I would have to say err on the side of the hardener. So you're just going to take your toothpick and mix these together until they're uniform color. Alright, so once you've got your JB Weld evenly mixed, we're going to go on to the next step. So be sure to carefully note before you take your 2-piece barrel apart which direction is up and which direction is down. Obviously, because this only goes into the delta ring one direction, and in order for you to reinstall your front sight here, you have to be able to install it properly upwards. You'll notice some markings on the bottom. That little mark there was from the set screw on the front sight, which is on the bottom. So if you already took it apart and you can't remember, and you see that little thing on there on the bottom, that's the this is your bottom side of the barrel right here, which also has a flat piece. This might be different on some other barrels. So you're going to want to line that up. You're going to notice that there's a little indent there that lines up with this here, and they're not perfect. See, if I line that up, this doesn't go all the way to the front, so you got to make sure you have that lined up perfectly, or your inner barrel's not going to fit in right. So what you're going to do is take this right here, and you're going to apply your JB Weld. Be sure, if you can, try to avoid the little markings, so that makes it easier to install the screws later. But just give everything kind of a light coating. It doesn't need to be super thick, and you can even it out the best you can. Okay, so once you've got that more or less evened out, you're going to set that down carefully for a second on something. Now, to kind of prepare for this, I would suggest taking one of your set screws and installing it just part way on the bottom hole. If you look inside, it'll be more easily apparent when you do this yourself, but you can kind of see when the set screw starts to poke out into where it would be touching the barrel and stop right about there. Next, you're going to take your barrel, making sure to line up the bottom with the bottom, and you're going to slide it in there with the JB Weld on, and it's okay if some of it comes out. If you can barely see it in there, you can see where the original one went, and then what I'm going to do is come down here to the Allen screw I pre-tightened. I'm just going to give that some more twists until it locks on there. Then come back up here, check that I'm aligned, and then I'm going to put my screws in on top. Okay, so you can see here I have the inner barrel that's going to be going into the outer barrel that I just JB welded. And you're going to line everything up and install it. You see that spring goes into there, that groove. You're going to make sure that it slides nicely to make sure that you fit it in correctly. After that's done, you can go ahead and wipe your excess JB Weld. When you're done wiping the extra, it should look pretty much like that, and you're going to want to make sure you keep all the screws tightened and just let this dry for overnight, I'd say, or at least 12 hours, because JB Weld takes a while to set up. So when you're all done with that, you should be good to go, and you shouldn't have any more barrel wobble problems.